Welcome to Lost in the Lakes, where you get brews, reviews, but best of all, views. Hello, welcome to Lost in the Lakes and welcome to review time. So over the past 5 months, as I've been wild camping, I've been looking at food setups and camping. I got one of them OEX jet boil equivalent things, and slowly upgraded. You've probably seen on some of the videos that I've got now an MSR Windburner. So I thought I'd show you a bit more detail on my setup, my cook setup at the moment, how I think it's progressed to this. There we go. So this is pretty much all MSR stuff. And my last video, I introduced this. That's the skillet. So this is the frying pan for the MSR Windburner. More about that in a minute. So this is it. Anyone that's got these will know it doesn't come in a bag like this. This is the bag from the OEX, but I just find it really useful for containing stuff. I put my spoon in here, but at the moment I haven't got it. So in this bag, I have the handle for the frying pan, this duty thing, I'll show you that in a minute as well, and the MSR Windburner itself. Now, one thing that someone mentioned before I got this, to say that these, see that crack? These get stuck on, they got wedged on. And the first time I used this in a camp, it was wedged on. So much so, I had to hit it off a rock like that, just to get the thing off. And it took so much of a hit. I mean, to its credit, it took a while for that to crack. I really had to bash that. So I'm afraid I'm down one of these. Now I don't know how to prevent that. Obviously with it cracked, it comes off nice and easy, so I kind of just use it as a protector now. And what I tend to use it for is putting utensils in when, you know, I'm a lighter and all that kind of stuff. The OEX, not the OEX, the Windburner 1 litre, which is what I've got, comes with a stand for the gas, but I haven't got it with me. I've put it in, but this one works. Now, I'll show you a couple of things what I've found out and what I can do. So, lighter, standard lighter. There's not one of them piezo things. And as you can see, I've got this upside down. I'll show you why in a minute. So, it comes with this little cloth as well in the bottom. I just keep on shoving it in there. So whether it does a good thing or a bad thing, I don't know. I suppose it stops it scratching the bottom. And then so the usual setup is you have one of these stands. Chuck that on there. Chuck that on there, pull this out, chuck that on there, I'll put it all the way on, stop the gas coming out, and then put that on there. Now these, it's a bit wonky because I just haven't wedged it on properly. These, with this setup, they do sit quite high. You know, you've got quite a lot of length there. So what I did was did away with that, and I bought this thing. Now this is brilliant, really. So basically fit that on there. Whoop. And that lowers the, so also the support on it is really wide. You know, it's as wide as one of these is. And it means you can have your gas off to the side. I won't put it on, I'll just put it there. So you can have your gas off to the side. And this is so much sturdier and it sits lower down, which I think is brilliant. Makes such a difference. When you're lighting these things, connect the gas to show you this. So what I do is I open that up full. These, they've got some special device in there, so they do take a bit. Like the OEX, you turn it halfway, you can hear the gas coming through, but this takes a while, like nearly one full turn before the gas comes through. So what I'll do is I'll just light it and show you. So it's a bit darker, but it has this wire that you can see glowing there. So when that's in daylight, oh, turned it the wrong way. When that's in daylight, you can't see that blue flame. So you have that wire to indicate that it's on. Just disconnect this gas again. Right. I do say when you disconnect the gas and you've got this, there is gas in here. So you will smell a bit more gas than normal because you've got gas in that pipe, but it will seep out. It will seep out. Now, some of the other brands that do these have pans that can go on and stuff. This typical MSR is quite expensive, but I used this the other day to cook some steak and it's really good. Now I kind of wish that this part here was a separate thing so you could use, you know, you could use different pans, but this pan is a good size, good depth, but this does add to the overall size. But it's a good pan. You can still see a bit of grease on there from the steak, and that does fold into that. But the way I set it up, I'll just take that off and put that in with the bag, and then I could just fit it all in. It's just a slightly lower profile, but this skillet is yeah, it's really good. They call it a skillet, I call it a frying pan. I'm not sure what is it because that's a bit higher, I don't know, but that's the frying pan. So like I say, I've only used it once, but it was really good. So prices on these things. The RRP on the Windburner, I think is about £200. It's if you look around, I think I've seen it on Amazon for 140. So you know, hunt around for it. The skillet, again, let me just have a quick look. £90. So the price on these on Amazon, or the cheapest I can find, is £90. But if you use discounts in Cotswolds and stuff like that, I'm sure you can get 15% off. But like I say, it's a lot of money for what it is, and you know, if that came separate, if you could get a separate thing to fit on that, I think that would be a lot better because you could use different pans, but obviously MSR want you to use theirs. These vary. I've seen them as cheap as £40, but they're around about £55, and that's how you pack that up. You just turn that over like that. And so if you had this cook set up, if you were paying full whack, £290 plus 55, that's 245 to £345. That's a lot of money for a bit of a cook set. I think I'm right on that with the maths. But yeah, especially for something that fails on you first time you use it. And there we go. This thing keeps coming loose as well, as you can see, which I might be speaking to MSR about that, just because it shouldn't be doing that. I mean, that does come out, it's supposed to come out, but it's also supposed to fit back in. I did have it, there we go. Okay, so that's back on. Now I think, where we at, this maybe if that, this could be my fault and it could have been someone else's, you know, whatever. So see, you've got a gap there now with this clicked in, and that doesn't, that just kind of just push fits on. So I'm just wondering if that's happened because that's clipped off there, pushed up there, and it's gone too far. So maybe that's why. So there's a bit of a gap under there now. I think you can order these separate. I might just order one because they are useful. Right, so in the instructions it says to put that in. Put this in that way, like that, and then fit that on there, and which means you can fit not this one but the MSR one over like that. Well, that one does fit in, so let's just use that, and then that fits on there like that. That's pretty solid actually, that's quite good. So this one, which is 3D printed from Amazon, I think. Yeah, I cut this down. I cut the legs off these. I think I did that on my OU X1. Fits in there and then locks it all together, which makes it think. There was a lot of people complaining about these rattling. Not rattling anymore. Anyway, because I used this thing, don't use that anymore. This lighter, you can't fit it in. It sits too high. I mean, you can sort of wedge it in, but you can't get the lid down. What I have found, if you shove that back in, put this in upside down, like that, put this in upside down. Now you can, no you can't, but what it means is it gives you enough room to put that in. If I can get this to sit right, that sits in a lower. It rattles, but your lighter's in there now, so everything's contained. obviously that thing, and then the whole thing fits like that, and then I just kind of put it in the rucksack like that. It does mean that this juts out though, so that's the only annoying thing really. But yeah, I'll just take all this out so I can show you a couple of things. So yeah, I think this has maybe been a fault of maybe my own, whereas if you clip that, it pushes up further and pushes right up until there, which means you can't get the lid on properly. And this has been wedged on. So I think I'll order one of these. This, if anyone wants to know, is 12 ounces, 360 millilitres. So this lid has a little bit on there like that, and I always thought you had to kind of fit it behind there, but you can actually turn it around anywhere, so you can pour it. So I'm not sure what this little bit's for. Maybe it's to help pull off, you know, because you've got a tab here that you can pull the lid off with. But yeah, I'm not entirely sure. Maybe that's to stop drips when it's getting poured out of there. Maybe to stop drips. But now I would do like a wind test with this, and maybe do but there's a couple of people reviewing these out there that have done wind test, and they're really good compared to the OEX equivalent. These work in the same like indoor environment. They're very much the same, but when the wind comes in, they are exceptional because there's no sort of naked flame. It's all hidden in there, and then it comes out there, and it's just works a lot better. This over the OEX as well, I've probably said in other videos, has different mounting points. So you've got 3 indentations in there. With the OEX one, you have to line them up, and so you've got like maybe 3 places you can do it, whereas this you can throw it on anywhere really. And the good thing about this is I found with the OEX, when the water's boiled and there's heat gone through all this, you have to hold the bottom of it to get it off. Now if this is full of boiling water, and you know, it's the last thing you want, so this just sits. I mean, it still locks on, but it comes off really easy as long as you don't dent this. But it's quite a strong steel, that. Okay, so this holds 1 litre. Now I do believe, where's the, yeah, I think you have to fit, to get 1 litre you have to be pretty much up here to get a full litre out of it. So it is 1 litre, but just. It's probably not practical to boil 1 litre of water in this. 0.7. Yeah, you're coming right up near the top. In fact, the markers inside don't even say 1 litre. But I've seen someone do it, and it literally is right near the top. So although it says 1 litre, I won't be boiling 1 litre in that. This handle, compared to the OEX one that has metal handles, handle's a handle, I suppose. There's no chance of heat transfer because this is plastic. So when you've got that, it's very much like the jet boil one, and it does mean it sits up quite close. But again, you know, you're not going to burn your hands on it because it's all plastic. So the OEX one, there's a potential for heat transfer. This one, not a chance. and it is quite comfortable, and because you sit, you know, you're not holding it out on a big handle, the weight's, you know, quite stable from where you're at, and again keeps the weight down. Weights on these things, right, so the total weight on that with the MSR version of that is 430 grams. If you add, okay, so the weight on this is 220 grams, so you can add them two together. The weight on the remote stove, they call it remote stove? Yeah, so the weight on the remote stove adapter is 180 grams. So it weighs this much. This thing boils really quickly. Again, over the OEX, the adjustability on these are so much better. You know, you can turn them down without it going out all the time, and they work really well. This is called a radiant burner, and that's why it's really good in the wind, because none of it actually, you don't see any naked flame, and it's I think it boils in about 2 minutes. But I tend to, you know, when you're cooking food and stuff, I don't cook any food in there. I use it for boiling water and then pouring it into food. I cook food in that, but not in that, just boiling water. Right, so things you can get for these, you can actually get a hanging kit that hangs the whole lot. I don't see a need for that for me. I don't know why I would. But you can also get a coffee press kit. So if you're really mad on coffee, you want a litre of it, you can use this as a coffee press. You can also get the Windburner Duo accessory kit, which basically is one of these, but it's 1.8 litres, and it comes with a bigger stand and one of these. While I'm here on the website, I'm going to have a look and see what accessories you can get. Oh, you can also get this in black. So it's the same colour here, but the outside of it's black. So accessories, you can actually get what they call a Windburner sauce pot, which is essentially that, but higher up and has a lid, and it holds 2.5 litres. So you can have a nice stew going on. So you can actually sort of have different setups for that. And that comes with, it looks like an aluminium lid. And if you really want, there's a stock pot which is 4.5 litres. I think you probably, if you don't have that low down thing and you've got this on there and you've got 4.5 litre stock pot on top of that, you're probably pushing the limits of one of these, because they clip on. So they clip on like that. So there's potential that it will pull out. Whereas if you've got something like that, it'll sit, and that's going to be solid. So if you were going to use these accessories that were more than the litre, I would definitely say get the low down remote stove thing, because it just makes it solid. You're not going to beat that, and there's no chance of it popping out. So MSR do a piezo igniter Now these, the radiant ones, the radiant burners, don't light with the piezo lighters, you know, the just like the click thing like you got on a gas cooker. It doesn't light it. You need a full-on flame for it to light. So even though they do sell that, it's not for this, and I'm pretty sure it does say on the packaging, and maybe it didn't used to, but it does now. They do the strikers, so the ferro rods strikers, so you can use the ferro rod to light these. So if you did, or if you didn't want to use a lighter, the ferro rod's about the only other option to use. And it looks like you can't buy them little plastic pots from Amazon, from MSR. So I think I'm stuck with my broken pot. That's my kit. Let me just pack it away so you can just see it all packed down. I do have the MSR brush thing that I clean this out with as well. I didn't go for an MSR one because I had this. I literally just had it because I seen it in the shop. I thought it was quite a neat little cleaning kit. Yeah, just make sure when you're folding these down that you just fold it in there, so if it gets caught on anything it doesn't get bent. And again, this is from the OEX, so that this little bag doesn't come with this. I pinched it off the OEX one, so I just think it's really useful to put everything in, and you can put your cutlery in there as well, and it doesn't scratch the pan when you've got it in. And that's pretty much it. You know, you could maybe put something round it, but I find once it's in the bag, it's pretty solid and it's not going anywhere. Right, so that's my cook set. It'll probably evolve again into something else, but we'll see in the next one. Right, this has been Lost in the Lakes. This has been the review on my MSR cook set, and I'll see you in the next one.